I was having great fun yesterday organising my pile that if someone else came to my desk and looked at the bits of paper and it would not make sense. I have a unique filing system and kind of colour coordination system whereby I can look at my writing or I can look at, the way something is structured on the page, even if I haven't categorized or labeled it. I kind of like know, okay, that's for that area. So I was organizing all my bits yesterday and using that time also to reflect on what the rest of the year is going to look like in business, but then also it felt good to approach that exercise first of all in terms of me, myself, and my own energy. Like, what is it that I need and want? Because if I'm not meeting that and addressing those things, then it means that anything else that I'm extending my energy and attention towards is not going to, it's not going to have that quality that I would like. So carrying on today, I've also been reflecting on things that have been achieved over the last 6 months, and I actually went back into my calendar to have a look. I was like, what have I been up to? What's been going on? And I just want to spotlight a few things because I think it's also like taking the space to actually acknowledge where you are and what you've been doing is really important. And the space of sharing that and bringing that insight in as well is motivated not by a desire to receive external validation or like a well done or congratulations, but just it's a bit of an insight into my routine and a little bit of the flavor of how much goes on and how much happens and how all these different moving parts actually connect with each other and support and inform each other as well. So yes, the calendar does look a little bit like a jigsaw piece, but together all these things make sense. So kind of going back to the beginning of the year, there was still about 6 weeks of the counselling skills course to go, and then that was completed with final submissions. So that was actually a really good start to the year to kind of bring a professional development additional training thing to a close and having something that bridged that winter period, which can often be when your energy is a bit sluggish and you're thinking, right, okay, what am I doing here? So yeah, that was a nice transition to get that one done, and it's been a very useful and supportive qualification to add some additional tools and kind of reinforce the reflective practice element of what I'm already doing. So that's been great. And kind of parallel to that, I was still in a course of actually attending counselling sessions and receiving those, and that was a kind of extended relationship. It's probably been the longest time that I've actually worked on a one-to-one basis with the same practitioner, and honestly that has been amazing. The work that we explored together, I feel very, very grateful for that, and also getting an insight into what it's like over time, building that trust and connection and rapport, and finding your shared language that will be unique to you as the client and them as the practitioner, but specific to that relationship. So that's been really insightful for me, and also important as I was doing this additional professional development and learning around this, to then also have a space where I could, focus on my kind of emotional processing, just in terms of whatever experiences that felt appropriate to address in that container. So that's been great. And carrying on from that, or bridging away from that space, but in the same sphere of like therapy land, there's been the shifting of being on waiting lists and waiting for additional support specific to trauma work, and getting the opportunity to start with EMDR in a kind of another specialist kind of niche branch to do some specific work there for me personally, and I'm kind of halfway through that process as it looks right now. So yeah, I can't speak too much to that because I'm obviously I'm inside of that experience, and I want to give my full energy and attention to that, and honor the parts that are kind of still orienting around that, and kind of trying to understand, like, okay, what is this about and what does it mean, and for me personally, but then also how is this translating and supporting and informing the way that I'm showing up professionally. So yeah, I'm sure there will be more reflections specific to that to share once I'm actually on the other side of that. But I'm just, again, very, very grateful to be connected with a practitioner at the moment who is, just offering that level of support. And so, that's all quite big stuff, personal stuff that's happening in my life. But and alongside that, which is, I think, starting to make its way into business territory, is actually asking for additional support and being very specific about that, identifying the areas where there's maybe a bit more vulnerability, or, as an individual, therefore having more kind of limited resources and capacity, trying to see, like, where could I actually draft in some assistance. So that's quite a big step, asking for additional support and making that a priority. So I'm taking that to be a good sign, and how that's also translating to the business stuff specifically is then enrollment in another business development program, and so far that has been very, very supportive, because it's just come at the right time. It's been a case of, okay, there's a lot going on right now, there's a lot of moving parts, there's a lot of therapeutic work happening for me, but what else can I do to support my relationship ongoing with business land and keeping that going and offering some structure